Hi, I'm Nina. I'm one of the personal trainers here at Fitness Together. I'm a kinesiologist, which means that my education is in exercise science. So throughout my career, a lot of my clients have come to me for injury prevention as well as injury rehabilitation. And I've done a lot of work with knees, hip mobility, and actually ended up focusing a lot on issues with the spine. So more specifically, the low back. And coming from injury and personal experience, I've been able to come up with a few basic exercises that help to stretch, to strengthen your core, as well as create more movement and more mobility so that you are able to not only alleviate pain, but help prevent injury. So with that said, go ahead and grab a mat, get ready.
Wrist, elbow, shoulder in a nice straight line, knee directly under the hip. So we're going to start out with a cat and a cow. So I want you to draw your chin to your chest and round the spine into that cat back stretch, and tucking your tailbone under and really lifting the rib cage to the ceiling. Then you're going to arch out the opposite direction, looking up, lifting your head and arching through the tail. So as we continue, keep in mind that the curve of the spine here is going to follow the curve of the spine here. So you're going to get a deeper stretch when you're matching those two and coordinating that movement together. So again, you're rounding that spine, drop those shoulders down, lift that rib cage, and arch out. So creating more movement in the spine, right? When we get that spine gets stagnant, that's where some of that pain resides. So we're gonna move on into our bird dog. So I want you to reach one arm straight out in front of you, opposite leg straight back behind you. So you're engaging into your core for stabilization. You might feel really wobbly here, and that's okay. That's kind of part of the idea of the exercise, is creating core stability and strength. So you're gonna slowly return those limbs back in, and we're switching sides. We might do maybe 4 or 5 of these on each side. You might do some repeating, keeping that spine nice and neutral. You may go to rounding the spine, drawing opposite elbow to opposite knee, reaching out in neutral. There's a lot of different variations that you can work from here. So we're gonna move on to another seated stretch. This is called MERMAID. So you're folding one leg in, the opposite leg is reversed. So a lot of these exercises that I'm showing you today have a foundation in Pilates or even in yoga, which is where a lot of your moves in physical therapy are gonna be from as well. So there's a lot of crossover. So you're gonna take that hand and arc over to the side. So as you can see, I'm not just addressing the low back, we're addressing the hips, you're addressing your core, all these different areas of the body that work together to create proper movement patterns. And we're gonna go ahead and switch to the other side. And again, we might do 4 or 5, maybe a few more on each side. So you're dropping down onto that forearm, feeling that stretch all through here, and then lifting even taller and reaching over to the side. So I did touch on creating proper movement patterns. So that's another big thing that we want to consider when we're addressing low back pain or trying to prevent injury. When we create proper movement patterns, the body can work a bit more efficiently, and you are thus avoiding injury and increasing performance. Let's move on to our back and we'll move into a few more of my favorite exercises for really loosening up the low back. And I'll even show you a few core exercises if we have enough time here. So we're gonna take our feet nice and wide, pretty much the width of your mat. Arms can be straight out at your sides, and we're gonna do what I call windshield wipers. So you're just dropping your knees off from one side to the other, and just kind of feeling how you're opening up into those hips, and you'll feel more of that movement into the low back. Again, we're trying to create more movement. More mobility equals less pain. Again, better performance, more efficiency. So now you're gonna take your feet together, and we're gonna continue to do some knee drops side to side, keeping the feet and the knees together. And you may notice you can't go quite as far over to the side. Take a little bit more time going side to side. This is absolutely one of my favorite exercises to loosen up the low back. Very easy, very simple, and really provides a lot of pain relief. All right, so then we're gonna move into some pelvic tilts. So I mentioned strengthening the core. So engaging those abdominals to help support and stabilize the low back, right? So with a pelvic tilt, all I'm gonna really do is just tuck and tilt that pelvis just a little bit. There's very little movement involved, but I'm really tightening down into those lower abdominals and drawing in and up that pelvic floor. And then just relaxing and releasing. And we'll do that a few more times. And again, you might do 5, maybe 10 of these and holding for 5 or 10 seconds. So we're just increasing that strength, working with your foundation, which is that pelvic floor. Then moving on to some glute bridges, keeping your hands long at your sides. You're gonna tilt that pelvis up and under and bridge all the way up this time. Peeling your spine and hips off the mat. Hips come nice and high, so you're really tightening into those lower abdominals. We're working those muscles that run along the spine, those little tiny muscles that run in between, called the multifidus. You are working a little bit of those erectors on the sides of the spine. And of course, abdominals, glutes as well, maybe feeling it in the quads there. So now you're gonna slowly lower it back down, 1 vertebrae at a time. So again, the slower you go, the better. So we're gonna go up again, all the way up. Make sure you're keeping those shoulders drawn down. You're not scrunching up to your ears. And then again, articulating. So 1 vertebrae at a time, scooping through the abdominals. Slowly lowering back down. Good, and then let's give you one final exercise. It's actually gonna be an abdominal exercise, but a little bit of a stretch. So you're gonna draw one knee in and extend that opposite leg away, staying nice and lifted into a curl, and then just alternating. So working on strengthening through your core. You could also keep your head down here, just extending the leg a little bit more toward the ceiling as opposed to further away from you. And finally taking a nice big stretch. And we're gonna end on some roll-ups and roll down. So let's actually start from a seated position. You can swing those legs and come on back up. So if you're a beginner, you're probably gonna modify these roll-ups and roll-downs, and you're sitting nice and tall, reaching the arms out. We're gonna slowly roll it back, tilting through that pelvis, and 1 vertebrae at a time. Now if you're a beginner, you're probably gonna hold right about here, and then you're gonna come all the way back up. So we're lifting the spine, and the final stretch is gonna be reaching forward over those toes to get a stretch into the hamstrings. So hamstring, glute, low back, everything is connected. So when that's tight, there is a possibility that that could lead to some issues with the low back. So if you're a little bit more advanced or you're ready, you're gonna go further into that roll down. We're gonna try to roll all the way down with control. Keep the spine neutral, meaning you're not arching your back as you reach the arms long. And then you're gonna slowly bring it back up. You can use your hands for a little bit of help here if you need to. And peeling that spine off, lift nice and tall at the top. This is the hard portion. And then reaching forward over your toes to get that hamstring stretch. So that is where I'm gonna end for today. Hopefully this gave you a few exercises that you can incorporate into your workout routine or use when you might be feeling a little bit of pain and you're looking to loosen things up. If you're looking for more exercises, a little bit more advice, or maybe even some virtual training, go ahead and contact me and I would be happy to point you in the right direction. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.